G'day, Blue Baggers, and welcome to this week's edition of Blues Footy Live. It's always good to be on here after a win. Bolt, welcome to the show.
Jed, great to be here. A win in the books, 1 and 2. It was much needed. But now it seems we've all moved on from the Dockers game and it's all about the Suns this week. In another non-negotiable, let's be honest.
It is. It's another non-negotiable. Bolt, very quickly before we talk about what's to come this week, what did you make of Sunday's match?
It was just much needed. I don't think we've had a comfortable win like that for a very long time. We're cruising, really. We never looked like we're going to lose the game after quarter time, which is something that is a bit of a rarity for us as Carlton fans. But no, isn't it? Like, we played well. We had, most guys, we smashed them all around the ground, really. We had the best probably 7-8 players on the field, more. Probably had the best 10 players on the field, really. And, a couple of guys got back into some form. A couple of guys showed they're going to have some big seasons. It was really good.
Yeah, I have to agree. I want to ask you about a couple of players in particular. Don't worry, we'll get to Marc Murphy.
Fire on the way.
All right, let's start with Paddy Dow.
You've gone straight to it, haven't you?
Yeah, well, everyone wants to hear your thoughts on his match because you are someone who watches him closely week in, week out. What do you think?
No. I try to watch him closely. I don't see him, though.
What do you think, Bolt?
Well, I still don't think his game on the weekend enhanced his stocks, really. I still think, Dow is somewhat of an issue. I just think his current output at the moment is nowhere near where it should be, and it's nowhere near a spot where he is a guaranteed starter every week. As in, I can only comment on the 45 games I've seen him play, and the 45 games I've seen Paddy Dow play just haven't been up to the standard, really. I still don't know what he's good at. That's the main thing for me. I don't know what he's good at.
Alexander Laird says he'd like Stocker to play in that role. I agree. I mean, I'd love to see Stocker in the midfield.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, I know. It's an interesting one, but yeah, the team changes will be very interesting this week after a win because I think, the two guys probably under fire at the selection table are Casboult and Dow, whether they stay, whether they go, whether it's Stocker that comes in, whether it's, Setterfield or Oscar McDonald or McGovern. We just don't know yet.
Yeah, and here's a comment that's come through. I want to talk about this because I think Dow's sort of split the fan base this week. A lot of people think that he did quite a good job keeping Mundy quiet. Did you see that side of his game on the weekend?
I saw him following Mundy. Look, Mundy still had 5 clearances. And let's be honest, the entire Fremantle midfield was negated. Brayshaw, Sarong, Cherat did nothing. None of them got first hands on the ball. If we think that Paddy Dow somewhat negating David Mundy is reason why, you think he's a good player or reason why he should be in the team on a consistent basis, you're only lying to yourself, really.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, there's a lot sort of to talk about when it comes to Dow. It's very interesting. I want to move on, though, and talk about Marc Murphy, another one that split the fan base. We're getting right to the hot topics very early here, Bolt. Murph, there's a lot of people who I think that maybe he shouldn't be in the team, and there's a lot who think he's been one of our better players. How did you see his game on the weekend?
Murphy's nowhere near what he was, obviously, when he was younger, and I think we know that. But what Marc Murphy brings to the team, that players that are fighting for his position, not players playing in the twos, but players like David Cunningham, someone like Matt Kennedy, someone like Paddy Dow, what he brings to the team that they don't have is skill and precision by foot. It's as simple as that. If I'm Harry Mackay, I would have no issues, but seeing Marc Murphy get the ball 65 out from goal.
Yeah. That's a fair call. I agree.
Form waivers, pop it as well. And I'm not saying Murphy's been unbelievable because he hasn't, but Murphy's just so far from the issue.
I think completely agree.
I think he pops a bad run at it because of his age, which is a bit unfair.
I agree, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's fair. This one's come through from Alexander Laird again, has said that Murph has class and poise on the ball. Even if he doesn't kick goals, he still contributes with score involvements, etc. And yeah, I just completely agree.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I couldn't agree more.
One that's come through from Chichio Branco says, why do you want to drop Levi? He's had 10 score involvements in 25 touches. It's similar percentage to Murphy at the moment.
Who do I want to drop? So no, I want to drop because 10 of Casboult's score involvements would be direct shots on goal, which he's there to do. He's getting most of his disposals come 35 metres out from goal. Levi Casboult, at the moment, is a complete liability to Carlton, in my opinion. For me, Casboult, the game's unfortunately gone past him. I just think he's just so, what's the word? Once the ball hits the ground, he's out of the contest, firstly.
Yeah.
And secondly, he's not clunking him. He's not kicking goals. He's our second key forward. And we spoke about it on the podcast that if Mackay is nullified by a good defender, like he's coming up this week, we can't carry Casboult like that and expect to win the game.
No, it's a fair call. One that's come through was incredibly impressed by, I think it's Luke Parks. I think he's getting a little bit mixed up there. But yeah, Luke Parks. I mean, look, what did you think of Parks' game, Bolts? I personally liked it.
Yeah, and comment in the feed what you guys thought of Luke Parks. But no, he was solid. He was sound. He competed well. Disposal obviously wasn't unbelievable, but he offered another good, defensive option for us. So he'll hold his spot.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought he did well on debut as well. Had some poise. I liked him. A couple of people asking if we would bring in McGovern and who we would make way for him. I'll let you answer this one, Bob.
Well, I thought you made a good point on the weekend that if we do McGovern for Casboult, we probably don't quite have that pinch-hitting ruckman. So McDonald, although he's not the best option, he'd be the one to do it if Casboult were to go out. But I don't think McGovern has the ability to play in the ruck. So I think if McGovern plays, he has to play with Mackay and either McDonald and Casboult.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. Yeah, I just think McDonald offers more to our team at this point than McGovern. And also McGovern's only played 2.5 quarters. So I feel like they'll want him to have a proper hit out in the reserves before bringing him straight into the side, especially considering we're playing away this week.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Oscar's been next man in for the last 3 weeks. So, it would be very hard not to play him, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. Suns don't have a ruckman this week. So I don't even know who's going to be in the ruck for them. I think it's going to be Burgess and maybe Caleb Graham.
I've heard Corbett.
So Corbett's going to ruck.
Corbett and Burgess is what I've heard.
Okay.
Same shit, though.
Another one that's come through, Williamson got injured in the reserves.
Yes, we heard that as well.
Yeah, I think it was a thumb injury or a hand or something like that. So a little bit disappointing. I think Willow's probably got a little bit of work to do before he gets back into the side, considering Parks came in and played his role probably better than Williamson did in the first few rounds. This is an interesting one that I want to ask you about. Daniel Jones says, thoughts on Dimmer saying that there should be lone players?
It's a tough one. I guess what's happening with the Gold Coast Suns at the moment is a bit of an anomaly, really, with all their big guys injured at once. But it's such a rarity. I think, let's say, because I think you're meant to set up your list so you've got depth. It's a 46-man list. It's a lot of players. As
in, Gold Coast have more ruck depth than us.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm not a massive fan of it. I understand it from Hardwick's point. He's saying they drafted a ruckman, in the draft, and he could easily, develop his game by playing the next 15 games for the Suns this year before he gets a proper crack at Richmond. I get it. But I actually really like this. I really like
that system. And I'm going to further expand this conversation. I want to ask everyone watching or listening, name a player from another club who isn't really getting a game, who you would think that Carlton should look at if this loan system was in place. And I'll kick off the conversation. Quinton Narcourt, Geelong, can't get a game. Would he get a game for us? I'm not sure, but he'd probably be someone that I'd look at bringing in with a loan move for, a 10-game loan or for the rest of the season. What are your thoughts there, Bolt?
Yeah, I've got a very easy one, I reckon. I'd go Callum Sinclair from the Swans.
Okay. Yeah, great call. Great call.
He's goal-kicking ruckman as well. He can clunk him. That's the one I'd be going for, Sinclair.
Well, Blue Baggers, send through people who you think Carlton should look at if there was a loan system in place. And then I'm going to ask you another one. That's funny. I'll ask you another one. Who do you think we would loan out?
Who do I think we would want to loan out? God. It's a really tough one. As in the one that probably strikes me because he's still contracted till the end of next year's David Cunningham.
Yeah, that's fair. But I feel like he's too close.
Yeah, I know. What about your boy, Honey?
Oh, I wouldn't loan him out. No, I mean, look, if it's going to help develop if it's going to further improve his development, then maybe. There's a lot of comments coming up here, people suggesting Matt Kennedy.
I like the Jenkins call there as well.
Josh Jenkins, yeah, that is a good call. Someone who I would loan out, honestly, Lockie O'Brien. I mean, what have we got to lose? Yeah,
I've got a Collingwood mate who says they'd want him, so it's a stick on a wing, so he could easily do that.
Okay. Daniel Jones, who asked the question, has provided his thoughts. He says he doesn't like the idea. It's like in junior footy when you send a few players to the other team, then you have a player playing for a team he's not passionate about, and what happens when they play their team. So I'm assuming if, for example, Carlton were to loan O'Brien to Collingwood, he wouldn't be able to play against Carlton.
Yeah. No, I agree. And then that's the same thing in soccer. You can't play against your parent club.
Yeah.
It's a good conversation to have. I like it.
Yeah, it is a good conversation to have.
Let's
preview it. Would you go Gov for Dow and send Murphy into the midfield? Thoughts on that, Bolt?
Yeah, I can handle that. My only fear is if we're getting beaten, we're going to be so much taller than them. They're going to run us around. That's my only issue. If we go too tall and we fall behind, it's going to make life difficult.
Yeah. And then I want to talk about the matchups this week. Actually, let's get to it, and then we'll touch on this afterwards. But team matchups this week. Who lines up on Sam Collins? I'm assuming it's going to be H, but if Casboult stays in, or maybe if we brought in Oscar McDonald, is there any way of playing a defensive player on Collins to free Mackay out, or is that just
no? I don't think we need to do that. I think it'll just be as simple as Collins to Mackay. Because Mackay's not going to hurt us like a Darcy Moore would. He's not going to hurt us offensively. But I think that will be as simple as that. And then
matchups
in Ballard, we'll probably get Casboult / McDonald / McGovern, the second forward. And Ballard will be well out of his weight class if he does get Casboult.
Yeah, that's true as well. Do we then? I mean, I know we went by this theory this week against Fremantle. They were undermanned. We kept Casboult in the side. Do we do it again?
Well, how much longer can we do it for is the question. As in, if he can't perform this week, we've got Port Adelaide the week after, who have Jonas, O'Leary, and Cleary. So I think it's a tough one. I guess there is an opportunity there with the matchups, because if you do play the three of them, it's probably they're forcing Lukosius or Markov to play tall. So it really is tough. Oh, it's a really big decision whether the non-selection or the selection of Casboult is going to be massive this week.
Yeah, yeah. This is a good one. Noah Anderson versus Sam Walsh will be interesting. Do you think that will be the matchup?
I think Anderson's a bit more what Walsh was last year as the pure winger rather than attending centre bounces. I think they prefer to go, with a bit of a hardened edge in the midfield. But, he's around the footy, Anderson. He's a gun. He's a gun. So I think he's someone we've definitely got to target. But, yeah, I don't know if it'll be interesting.
Rankin needs to be suppressed. Yeah, I mean, do we target Rankin?
Well, Rankin hasn't done it. I think Plowman will go to Rankin. I think Plowman did a really good job on him last year from memory. We'll definitely lock down on him. He's their most dangerous small forward, 100%.
Yeah, this is. There's a lot of people asking who goes on Rankin. Yeah, this is a good comment from Tim Wilkie. Says we need to rough up Anderson like we did Brayshaw. And Bolt, you made that comment earlier in the week.
100%. I think we do. I think that's the man. He's just the crucial link to goal for them. He's a brilliant winger. He's penetrating. He's just a beautiful player. And I think, if we got into his head early, it'd go a long way to getting some midfield ascendancy.
Yeah. Sard is the man for Rankin. Please not Plowman. Thoughts on that?
No, because I just think Sard plays too far. Rankin's sometimes the deepest forward. I think Sard's way too offensive for that type of a shutdown role. I actually think Darcy McPherson will try and play a defensive role on Sard. I'm pretty, because Plowman's got a pretty good. I know he was pretty poor round 2, but he's usually got an okay record on the smalls.
Yeah. Alexander Laird says Oleg Markov is going to be a danger off the half back since Gold Coast build their attack from there. I agree. I actually agree with that. I think it's probably worth lining someone up on him.
Yeah, and Gold Coast play a very much possession-based brand of footy coming out. So Markov, Bowes, Lemons, Weller, Ellis get a stack of the footy, and they just hold the ball. And we've got to shut down all those outlet options. Really,
yeah.
Have possession of the footy.
Yeah. This one's a good one. SPS on Rankin. Rankin, that SPS rarely gets beaten.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Jedd's going to go shush his dog. But
sorry about
that. Yeah, hear the dog. But SPS and Rankin. For me, Plowman's just a tad more reliable, to be honest. Because they don't have many tools, so he's going to get the next dangerous forward, which is Rankin after Ben King, which Wiedering will get. Because I don't know, because Jones will get the resting ruckman, whether it's Corbett, Caleb Graham, or Burgess, which doesn't concern me in the slightest. I think it's in Plowman Rankin.
Yeah, I agree. This is a good one from Finn Boyle. The coach just needs attention as well.
He does. It's a great
They've
call.
Got some weapons, the Gold Coast.
Say that again?
They've got some weapons, the Gold Coast.
They do. And Will Powell as well is another one that gets a lot of the pill coming out of the back line. They've got really nice users. They're a weird team, the Suns, because they don't have a lot of mega stars. Like, their top 6 or 7 wouldn't really read as well as some other teams, but they just have contributors all around the ground. Well, Coach is a great player. We definitely need to put time into him.
I like this one. What's your thoughts on Setterfield coming back in, or do we stay with Cottrell? I'll quickly answer this. I liked Cottrell's game. I would stay with Cottrell. Do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. Cottrell should be playing on the weekend.
Or do we bring
Setterfield to get back in?
Do we bring Setterfield in for Dow and play him in the position he should be playing, which is on ball?
I would not be against that.
Yep. Brad Grinwis wants to know who plays on Sexton.
So that might be the Petrescu-Seaton matchup.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, it's a tough one. It makes because he's a bit taller than Rankin. No, I think Rankin's too good not to have your best small defender on him.
Yeah, I agree. Well, here we go. Cripps versus Greenwood will be a great matchup. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, there's some big bodies in the middle. Greenwood, Took Miller, Cripps, Zach Williams. Some big bodies that are going to be going at each other. The game's going to be one in the middle. If we get midfield ascendancy, and especially now there's no width, so we'll have Pinternet in there, I'm pretty confident we will win the game if we get on top in the midfield early. I'm pretty confident.
How do Kennedy and Stocker get a game? Is Kennedy a chance this week? They've got a really big midfield, the Gold Coast. We might bring him in just for physicality.
I would be surprised if he was named this week. I'm not going to lie. I would be surprised if he played. Yeah. I'm not sure. How do they get a game? I think they've just got to rely, consistent efforts in the twos. I think Stock is probably closer than Kennedy, but once, we speak about this slow midfield, which we want going both ways, and whether they enhance that, I'm not sure.
Straight swap Setters for Dow. Setters was great last year. Play him in his position. I agree, Steve. We've been harping on about this. Definitely agree. This one's interesting from Jason. Like to see Nunes take Sexton. I don't think Nunes really plays that defensive role, does he?
I'm not sure on that. I think Nunes just stick him on a wing and you're safe. So whether it's Brandon Ellis or Noah Anderson's wing, I'm comfortable with Nunes there.
And I actually have loved Nunes this season personally.
Yeah, I'm a Jack Nunes fan. He's been one of the, bargain recruits the last 24 months. There's no doubt about it.
For sure.
He hasn't been late, really, since coming to Carlton.
Yeah, I agree. Kennedy or Stocker, pick one. Yeah, Blue Baggers, send in your votes. Who would you bring in this week if you had to pick between Kennedy or Stocker? That's a good one. Are you going Stocker, Bolt? I think you said you've gone Stocker.
I'm team Stocker.
Yeah, I'm probably look, providing that we're going to play him in the midfield, I'm team Stocker. While we wait for these votes to come in, thoughts on Sam Doherty at the moment?
Interesting one. Because the Gold Coast play such a possession-based game, we can do the same thing. And we've had nights up at Metricon where we have owned possession. And I think it's a big opportunity for Doherty this week. We just need him. It's not even necessarily the number of possessions. It's not necessarily the number of possessions. It's the ability to peel off, the ability to intercept, the ability just to have the game on his terms.
There's a lot of votes that have come through, a lot for Kennedy, which is interesting. I think we both said Stocker. Quite a few people think that Kennedy's the one who should be coming in. And a couple for Stocker as well, though.
It's fair because Kennedy probably does have that extra string to his bow where we know he can go forward and take an overhead mark and kick a goal. I just think midfield perspective, I'd rather see Stocker in there.
Yep, and that's fair. Yeah, and I agree with this. Let's see what Stocker is capable of. We've never seen him in the midfield, have we?
No. The year 3 school teacher played him in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Name for goals, by the way.
It's interesting.
Do you think we'll get up this week?
I do. I could easily see it going the other way, though. This is a very even matchup, I think. Both teams like to play slingshot footy. Would you agree with that?
I do. I know I'm seen as a bit of a negative Nancy on these forums, but this is the first week I'm confident.
Okay.
I'm confident.
Mate, don't put the moz on us.
That's my opinion. I'm confident. Send in your predictions for the weekend as well. But no, I'm pretty. We should be winning this week. We really should be winning.
Now, Blue Baggers, as Bolt said, send in your predictions for this week. Who is going to win and what's the margin going to be? While we wait for those to come in, team changes this week, Bolt. You're the coach. What are your final changes?
It's so tough. I'm going McDonald and Setterfield for Dow and Casboult.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
I'm probably the same.
So tough. I don't know how it's going to go on Friday night with team changes, but that's what I do. But there's two 50-50 calls to be made, really.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm keen. I'm really keen to see it. There's a lot of tips now coming through. Blues by 16, by 19. Blues by 75. I love that, Kane, and hope that you're correct. Blues by
Better than after the siren. I like the confidence.
Last time
I'm on board with confidence this week. Yeah, wow, Kane. Yeah, he's an optimistic Blues fan.
While you're posting your predictions, also post your team changes. What you would do if you were the coach. Just quickly, Bolt, last time Matty Cottrell played on Metricon, he did something special, didn't he?
Kicked that crucial game-winning goal against the Swans, and he celebrated really mildly. So, no, I'm keen to see Cottrell. It'll be very interesting. And also, leave us a comment if you're going to be up on the Gold Coast this week and what you expect to get out of Gold Coast away this weekend, because it's the first, I guess, interstate trip Victorian fans have been able to take to watch the Blues in a long time. So,
yeah,
let us know.
Yes.
It's going to be very interesting, this game. It's just a game we have to win. It's a non-negotiable given we've got Port Adelaide and Brisbane to come.
No, I completely agree. Cottrell tag on Anderson. Kerno the same on Swallow, and Blues by 34 points.
Yeah, I can live with that. I like it a lot.
I like that, Ali. And then we've gone, there's a lot of predictions coming in. Go Blues. Yes, Kane, go Blues. Gov in, Dow out for me. Yeah. Yeah, that probably means that, maybe someone like Murphy or maybe Gibbons get moved into the midfield.
Yeah, no, I like Gibbons as the high half forward. I don't really love him at stoppages. I think he's more of that, 65, 75 metre out from goal player.
We should be beating mate. Simon, you're right. We should be beating the Suns if we are legit about finals. Big call for the game. Mine is Suns are scoreless in the first quarter. What's yours? Were they not scoreless last year when we played them in the first quarter? I reckon they were.
Yeah, thereabouts. I remember.
I reckon it was
like 3 goals, 8 or something like that in the first quarter.
I thought it was something like 1 goal, 6 or 8 or something like that at quarter time.
I've got it here. They were scoreless.
Yeah.
We only kicked 1 goal 4 though.
1 goal 4 was it?
It was 10-0 at quarter time.
Yeah, I thought it might. Yeah. Goals for about 30 minutes. Marcel says Omac for Casboult, Stocker for Dow. This is an interesting one, completely off topic. Who was the better list, Carlton or Sydney? We'll leave that for another time, I think. Maybe we'll dissect that next week.
I'll answer it shortly. Irrelevant of the players each team has, Sydney play nicer footy.
Okay, that's a fair answer. I would just hope our boys show consistency and have another 4-quarter performance. Completely agree. Let's be honest. If we play for 4 quarters, we shouldn't lose.
Shouldn't. Just can't fall asleep at the wheel.
Yeah. And we did for a little bit this week, late in that third, didn't we?
We did. We definitely did.
Big call is for Cripps and Walsh to get 6 combined. Is that 6 goals, Austin? Maybe clarify that one. If that is,
we ain't going to lose if that's the case.
That would be awesome. Good one, but from Nick Webb. Does Betts get a game?
He's on the fringe. I think he will play. But the warning's out for Betts.
Dylan wants to know the one main key matchup of the week.
The matchup we probably have to win is Wiedering on King. That's the matchup we have to win.
Yeah. I like this. Zach Williams is as tough as a cat's head.
He is. He has a cracked Williams.
Yeah. This one, what's a belly sleep? Let's just hope that doesn't happen, Angelo.
I know it's happened too many times for me not to, for it to be a not bad bet.
Where is Charlie Curnow in all of this? I think we're looking at last month of the season at best. Lachlan, mate, we could use him at the moment with Levi out of form, that's for sure. Bolt, we may wrap it up there. Very quickly, though, Blue Baggers, comment if you haven't already who's going to win and by how much. And while we wait for those, Bolt, what is the most important thing that we have to nail this week in terms of team structure? What is something that we must do?
Got to win. Got to win contested footy. If we win contested footy, if we bash them in the middle, we'll win the game.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Contested footy, winning in the middle. Yeah, I think that is where the game will be won, especially considering Gold Coast's powerful, big-bodied midfield. Bolt, it's been an absolute pleasure. Blue Baggers, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to follow Blue Abroad on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. Bolt, looking forward to doing it all again next week. If you go to the Gold Coast, shoot us through a DM at Blues Footy on Twitter or Instagram or even on Facebook. Let us know if you're going to the Gold Coast. We'll catch up for a beer at the game. I'm looking forward to this one, Bolt. You've never been to Metricon, have you?
I haven't. I feel like I've been to every single stadium in Australia but this one. So I'm very excited. It'll be interesting. It'll be a good weekend, hopefully.
Definitely. Bolt, thank you for doing it once again. Another show in the books. We'll be back to do it all again next week and hopefully winning 2 on the trot. Go Blues.
Let's go.